Navigating Temptation Through Conscious Awareness and a Glimpse into Reality. It's based on my internal process. The journey of breaking free from addiction is often portrayed as a battle against external forces or ingrained habits. However, the true locus of control may lie within the intricate workings of our own minds, specifically in the interplay between sensory triggers and conscious awareness. My personal exploration has led me to believe that the key to navigating temptation lies in cultivating a heightened sense of observation and a deliberate engagement of our conscious decision-making processes. Addiction, as I've come to understand it, can begin with a seemingly innocuous thought, which then spirals into an expectation fueled by sensory imaginings. These sensory urges can become so potent that they momentarily overshadow our rational, conscious thoughts, driving us towards the addictive behavior. Yet, moments of heightened awareness, perhaps triggered by external factors or a conscious effort, reveal that control is indeed possible. The path to reclaiming this control, for me, involves a practice akin to meditation, a focused observation of those initial sensory triggering thoughts. Instead of engaging in a direct battle, which can often intensify the inner struggle, I aim to simply witness them. This act of observation, when coupled with conscious attention, allows for a moment of evaluation. These initial thoughts may carry judgments or assessments, and it is at this juncture that our conscious mind can step in as a decisive force, weakening the power of the sensory urge. This process, though intricate, can occur rapidly within the complex architecture of our brain. My personal experience involves an almost simultaneous arising of a tempting thought and a conscious awareness that evaluates its direction. This ability, I believe, stems from a practiced attentiveness to what I term overshadowed or backseated thoughts, the quieter voices of reason that often get drowned out by immediate urges. This internal practice is deeply intertwined with my fascination with the fundamental nature of reality. My contemplation of the microscopic world, physics, and the cosmos, sparked by a fundamental question about existence itself, has cultivated a perspective where the transient nature of temptation pales in comparison to the underlying realities of particles, energy, space-time, and consciousness. This understanding suggests that while we navigate a secondary reality of everyday experiences and desires, our core reality is rooted in these fundamental constituents. By maintaining an awareness of this deeper level, we can perhaps gain a necessary detachment from the often compelling nature of immediate urges. Ultimately, my decision in navigating temptation is to cultivate and consistently engage this conscious awareness. By observing the initial sparks of temptation without judgment and consciously evaluating them against a backdrop of a deeper understanding of reality, I aim to maintain a stable and controlled mind, choosing connection and purpose over the fleeting allure of addiction. It's based on reader perspective. How does someone truly break free from addiction? We all understand the personal battles and life situations that contribute to it, so let's not focus on those. Instead, let's dive into how addiction actually works. The cycle of addiction. Often, addiction begins with a simple thought, which then grows into an expectation, eventually leading to the action itself. Consider pornography addiction. Seeing someone we're attracted to can make us consciously aware of their appearance, triggering thoughts in our minds. These thoughts then create expectations and future imaginings. These imaginings connect with our senses, which are directly linked to our brain. This connection can become powerful, driving us toward the addictive behavior until it's completed. During this time, our initial conscious thoughts often fade, as the sensory urges take over. The illusion of control. Sometimes we feel completely helpless against our addictions, while at other times we believe we have control. Think about it. If someone we deeply respect, like our parents, or even someone we find attractive walks by while we're experiencing a trigger, like seeing someone smoke or drink, our conscious mind often becomes very active. This heightened awareness can stop us from being overwhelmed by sensory thoughts. This shows us that control is possible. However, the key is finding the right way to achieve this control effectively. Let's explore how. When those sensory triggering thoughts pop up, instead of trying to fight them, which can cause inner struggle, simply observe them. To observe effectively, we need focus. As we observe, the thoughts might turn into judgments. When we see word judgmental thoughts, we feel like self-critical. Yes, they may happen if you doesn't allow your consciousness as decision makers. The role of judgmental thoughts isn't necessarily about harsh self-evaluation, but more about a natural cognitive process of assessing the initial sensory input in relation to one's values, goals, and the desired outcome of breaking free from addiction. When these judgmental thoughts arise, allow your conscious awareness to step in. As your consciousness becomes more active act as decision maker, the power of the sensory thoughts weakens. This might sound like a long process, but it actually happens within the complex workings of our brain in just a few seconds. Everyone has something they're genuinely interested in, something they'd happily do even without pay. They get really involved in that work. There are a lot external way to manage addiction, like spending time, nature, physical activities, etc. And not focusing external things. When we stabled inside, we don't need external support that much. I'm not even going to delve into hormones like dopamine and serotonin. Those are purely biological, and honestly, my understanding there is pretty limited. But I'm quite sure that by practicing what we've discussed, we can definitely gain more control over these internal responses, even something like an erection. Here's a way to think about it. Attraction plus sensory thoughts equals temptation. Temptation plus observation equals judgmental thoughts plus conscious decision equals stable mind. Let's break down above components for more depth understanding. Observation, it sounds straightforward, but it's surprisingly powerful. Really seeing something isn't just looking. It takes focus. When you combine observation with focus, it's almost like a type of meditation. Judgmental thoughts and consciousness decision. Think of judgmental thoughts as a temporary stage, a stepping stone that fades away with practice, like a sign of growing expertise. For example, we can take same situation as I quoted earlier for better understanding. Imagine seeing someone smoking or noticing an attractive person. Our minds might start with thoughts and imaginings, moving us towards temptation. This is the point where you consciously observe. Our inner dialogue might sound like, is this the right path for me? Am I making a good choice? These are macro-level judgmental thoughts, a form of self-evaluation. If we don't actively engage our consciousness here, these thoughts can become micro-level, leading to self-criticism, feelings of being a bad person, or guilt. Actually, these negative feelings often arise after giving in to the temptation. But with conscious observation, they can surface earlier. If our consciousness actively makes a decision at this macro level of evaluation, it prevents those self-critical feelings later, and the temptation itself can disappear. You might recognize the guilt and self-criticism after you've indulged in your addiction, but if your consciousness has been backseat, it might then try to reassure you, don't worry, it's okay, just don't do it next time. However, as you become more practiced in this, you start believe in yourself. Even this stage of conscious evaluation becomes less pronounced. For me, for instance, when a temptation arises, my conscious awareness kicks in almost simultaneously.